Hello, and welcome to another week of anime review for Mob Psycho, Bleach, and Chainsaw Man. You know, you would think by now I'd have like a better intro, but that's really all I have. And also, wow, uh, these these episodes, they was something. And like honestly, like okay, don't tell anyone, but like I kind of just want to skip straight to Chainsaw Man. Because like that episode was crazy, and I feel like there's a lot to unpack. But I feel like I have like a format going on, and I might as well keep with it. So on to Mob Psycho. Boom, there it is. Okay, so last episode was the whole Tomei wanting to find telepaths and contact with aliens kind of storyline, and this kind of finishes it up with they're all onto fuck, I already forgot the name. I think it was Mount Mud something. I think I wrote it down actually last episode. Mount Mudboat. And yeah, this episode was about that, and like them trying to contact aliens, and it was very I don't think calm is the right word. I think it's more like wholesome episode, warm. It had a lot of those kinds of energies. Like, it honestly felt like a slice of life, but besides like some of the parts at the end, which like it's just like Mob Psycho crazy shit, but yeah, like it I feel like I could have easily mistook this. Is that a word? Mistaken this like anime for like a something like Eurocamp or something like that, where it's just like going to the fucking woods with your friends and like learning about friendship. But this is Mob Psycho, and like it still carried a lot of those energies. But I guess like the highlight of this episode was pretty much like the animation, like the directing, the storyboarding, like the shots they were taking, and like all that kind of stuff was just like out of the park. I did find like a lot of the character moments touching, but like that's Mob Psycho. That's like if you wanted that, like I think the previous arc did it better. Trying to find something in your feels, but this arc really like hit on more like, wow, like Bones went crazy. I think let me look it up. The director for this did season 2 episode 5. What episode was that? Was that the Reagan episode? No, that was the Mogami Otherworld episode. So it was like it's the same director as that. So like like episode director, storyboarder. Was he storyboarder? I think he's the episode director. And episode 5 of that was fucking crazy. So then he's up to it again, and this like it was just everything, like from the beginning of when Tomei was in the car seat, and you kind of like see her like kind of like trying to like move around in a seat to get like more comfortable, like the expression on her face. It's like the whole episode was filled with that, like the way it was panning to different places in the car to like show off characters and stuff. It was really cool to see. I don't even know how to explain it properly. Like it was a lot of fluidity and movements in characters that didn't feel unnatural. Like it felt like it was like it was giving life to the characters. And it's I don't want to say it's something different from what Mob Psycho usually does, because it's not like the art style changed or anything, or the animation style changed. It was very much more like they went like harder in this episode than they have in like normal scenes. I don't really know how to explain it more than that. Like there was this like just one scene that like stuck with me, which was I think it was Reagan's hand, who like it was just like going against some bushes, and I'm just like, whoa, the fluidity in that just looked insane. And those is like also another cool shot of like them going up a hill, and then like, you know, the characters are not basically drawn. Like, how do I explain it? It's like their faces aren't shown, but you can tell who it is by like their stature and like their clothing. And like you can notice that like Mob is like struggling to climb up, and then like he slips, and then the guy behind him like helps him back up, and you're just like, wow, that look. And like it's not like it was like focusing on that or anything. That was very much like a background thing, like, and like you have to really pay attention, or at least like if you're watching it subbed, you have to pay attention. I feel like, you know, this is one of like the detriments of watching subbed anime. Like I, if you know me, I love watching dubbed anime, not just for like this reason, obviously, like, but it's more like when you're watching English dubs, you can just like take in the animation as it is, and you can still like understand what people are saying and all that, right? Like, so all this like sub elitists who are like, oh, dub is trash. They don't know how to act. That's crazy, because like I think like dubbed voice actors are like some of the best. Let me rephrase my words. How do I like big up some dub voice actors? I think like dub voice actors are incredibly talented, and it kind of hurts me whenever I see like people trash on dubbed voice actors because they think that like, you know, the Japanese voice actors are just better, which is like understandable. Like the way a lot of Japanese voice actors like say shit just sounds cool, honestly, but you do miss out on stuff because you're watching the subs, because like, you know, you're reading the subtitles. Sometimes you don't notice some stuff happening around the screens at the same time, and like, you know, maybe that's a me thing, right? Maybe I'm just like terrible at watching anime, even though I've been watching anime my whole life. But that's just me, right? Like, I rewatched this episode basically, and I feel like I caught a lot more stuff happening in like the backgrounds, noticing how like well the backgrounds were done as well, like, and like the way that characters were moving in it like it looked really good. And yeah, like that was a like, even the music was great. Like they had like this sort of like I don't think it's like campgroundy, but it's like, it's kind of like an indie kind of soft rock kind of thing. Kind of reminds me of like a Life is Strange soundtrack. I don't know how to explain that. Like alternative indie. Is that a genre? I don't know. But like it, you know, it sounded outdoorsy and like, you know, friendshipy. It was really fun, nice, enjoyable. I'm really bad at descriptive words, aren't I? But basically, you know, the characters are all like, oh yeah, let's well, like they're all like climbing up the hill, but then like, you know, they're all like, oh man, we should go back instead. Or Tome is basically more like that, but then everyone's like, yo, we're doing this for you, like we got to do this. She kind of like guilt trips people and whatever, but it's like, no, they go along with it anyways, because you know, it's Reagan being the adult. It's like, yo, we got to stick together. We're fucking out in the woods. Like I don't want to be responsible if someone gets lost. So yeah, there's a lot of that. And then when they get to the top, they have to do like the ritual thing that was written in the book that Tome has, but you know, Tome didn't bring the book, left it in the car apparently. But Takanaka, I don't know if I'm guessing he memorized the ritual beforehand, because it was actually like really cute. His story, or like why he was late to the meeting in the last episode, was because he was researching the whole night, and he just like he was just way too excited that you know, he ended up being late. And then like that playing a part here, because like, was he reading Tome's mind? I mean, he said like, you know, he has earplugs in, so he can't he doesn't want to read people's minds anymore or use telepathy that way. But he was doing it later in the episode, or at least I assume he was. And like there was even the thing where like he found out that Reagan just is lying about everything, but he can read people really well. Like he's a really good people's person. Like Takenaka is like the only person who sees that in Reagan, because everyone else fell for his bullshit, which is hilarious. And they were like, in like the whole scene of when like they're up at the top. I mean, I don't want to just say it was that those scenes. So it was kind of like the whole like first half of the episode felt like movie level shots with how fluid they were, how like, you know, like the way it was like zooming in, panning back out, panning left and right, the characters having so much motion to them. Like I'm just repeating myself, but like, you know, it was really good, what they were doing. It was really cool. I even like the mid cut where it was like a it kind of felt like an old school horror Japanese kind of thing with like the text pop up and it's like flipping up like that and it's like red and bloody. Like I thought that was a neat touch. Yeah, it's a cool episode so far. But then aliens pop up because of course they are, you know. And they turn out to be these huge shoujo-eyed creatures with wearing like what seems to also look like what do you call it, high school uniforms as well. Like it's not exactly a high school uniform, but it's got like a, what are these called, the neck thingies. There's a word for that. They like, you know, a collar, I guess. They have like a collar that kind of looks like like a shirt, blazer, not blazer. You know what I mean. They have like a skirt looking thing as well. Kind of looks like they're all wearing skirts. So like, I guess like the whole thing here is that like, you know, aliens are shoujo anime girls. And that sounds like a very cool universe that I wish I was a part of. But you know, they become friendly with the aliens and stuff. Reagan's worried that like they'll have diseases, but then, you know, they grab hands and like, oh yeah, well, we're all friendly here, and they get shown into the spaceship where they're all just chilling, eating snacks and chilling basically. And yeah, I guess like it's a very bizarre episode because even the aliens sort of look jarring, which is weird because everything looks jarring in Mob Psycho. Like it has a very unique you know, art style, I guess. Like because one drew everything, and you know, it's not that it looks bad or like sloppy or anything like that or amateurish, but it just looks unique. I guess like you could say it's like sloppy, but like what refined sloppy, is that a thing? Because you know, Mob One is known for like not being the greatest artist, but I think what One does very well in you know, his stories like One Punch Man and Mob Psycho is that he understands shonen, and like, so there's like a very like neat thing he does where it really feels like he's factoring like coolness and stuff into like every panel. So he like his paneling is amazing. I mean, this is like the manga, but it does translate into the anime a little bit on like, you know, creating scenes and like that like feel believable, that you can it feels like you're a part of it, like immerses you well. And not only that, storytelling, like just what's that word when it's like envelops in it, like they just work hand in hand with each other. So it's like I feel like One does that very well, which, you know, it's not that like other authors don't. It's just that it feels maybe like their skill sets are in other places. Like, you know, maybe you would say One Piece has like great world building and stuff like that. You know, Naruto, maybe you would say like it hits those emotional notes very well. Bleach has the drip. You know, One with Mob Psycho, I think like it really hits like the essence of what a shonen is, which is like, I guess, yeah, it's my definition of shonen, which is like, you know, the positive messaging that I've like mentioned in other episodes, and even in this very bizarre episode, I you can still feel it. Like it's wholesome, positive messaging, except for like the little bit at the end. But we'll get to that. So, basically, the kids and Reagan I just have been chilling there until morning, and then when they're about to leave, they get a gift from the alien. I think it's like some sort of gem thing. It was something, but that doesn't matter because you get shirtless Reagan when he offers his pajamas over to the alien, and that was hot. But other than that, after they give like some of the gifts over, they all leave and they forget someone. Inugawa, the blonde guy. He gets taken with the aliens, and he gets a harem isekai story, all in like a minute or so, and it's one of the craziest endings, outros to an episode I think I've seen in anime as well. I say that, but like Chainsaw Man happens, but that's what the Chainsaw Man part like. This is Mob Psycho. Just I gotta hold myself from speaking about Chainsaw Man right now. So yeah, he gets taken to the place. He starts writing in a journal. I think it's in the memo pad that one of the other telepath club members gave him. So he's writing in there, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna write a diary entry to like talk about my experiences in an alien world. And it's actually funny because there was this moment where he was like saying like, oh, me and you are like are friends now, or something like that. We're basically friends. And then that moment you see like the alien that was he was talking to points to him to another alien, and they did like an okay sign. It's like, yeah, we're taking this one with us. His house. So they give him a feed, like a lot of weird alien food, and there seems to be like a crowd of the same shoujo alien creatures. Like it felt like a concert basically. Like there was so many of them like kind of cheering him on, and he eats this like fucking almost looks like an owner hole. Honestly, like I'm like, bro, that looks fucking gross, but he eats it, and I think he said something about like it felt like he was drugged, or like there was something in there, because afterwards he strips his clothes and starts going crazy, and then he wakes up the next day and there's like lip marks, kiss marks, lipstick. Do aliens even wear lipstick? Basically, he's been kissed, assumingly assaulted by many of these alien creatures, and it is what it is. He is underaged, middle school, so I'm guessing, or end of middle school, so I'm like 14, 15, somewhere around that age. Yeah, weird. Legal? I don't know. These are aliens. Morally, it is wrong because he was also drugged, but I guess it's also a thing where like boys that age might have those kinds of dreams of being molested by hundreds of alien creatures. I don't know what teenagers are doing nowadays. Maybe they like that kind of stuff. I don't know. What was pretty cool though was like he beat up this like creature in the alien world that was like fucking up their crops. So because of that, he was treated as a hero, and then got to sleep with which is I'm assuming is the queen alien, because she kind of looked more royal. I think she had a crown as well. So yeah, he got in with the queen or princess or whatever. So he's basically the ruler of these aliens now, which is pretty sick. But then, he misses home, so he gets to point to them like, "Yo, I want to go home," and they got it. And like the messaging there was right. Like, if you want something, sometimes you got to look at people and just tell them straight up that you want to leave. And I think that is positive messaging, right? Like that's a life lesson. Even though the situation was kind of weird and is like kind of my fantasy, my dream. I wish that was me. Obviously, it wasn't for him. He would rather be home. So, yeah, props to him on saying, "Fucking Inagawa, why'd you waste this chance, bro? You had the life, bro. Yeah, you were a king." Craziness. But anyways, wrapping up this this episode, I think it was a very good episode. Like I said, movie level kind of shots happening all throughout the episode, especially the ending. That I didn't even touch upon like how well animated the whole alien world was as well. Like, it really felt alien, which is crazy because we've seen the evil spirits and stuff in Mob Psycho beforehand, how icky they look and stuff, how alien like they could be at points. But here, maybe it's because it contrasts with like the whole nature stuff that was happening in the first episode that like felt like slice of lifey, that when you're reintroduced to this like alien stuff, it feels alien. It does its job. It's pretty well done, if I say so myself. So I'm gonna give it like a 10 out of 10. It was a very good episode. One of the best I want to say animated episodes of Mob Psycho. Like, it doesn't really hit. It does hit story points, I guess. Like, the psychic, not psychic, telepathy club and them growing together and kind of stuff. Like, it hits those notes and those developments really well. But if we're talking Mob Psycho and like throughout the whole series emotionally, like just episode 6, we had that dimple moment and like that was crazy, right? Like, it hits you. Other like scenes like the Mogami not flashback world, kind of what do you call that, hypnosis world, other world, like the dream world, I guess, right? The dream world that Mob was in, that kind of like sticks with you story wise. The Mob and Reagan, like, I always knew that you were a good person moment, like that just hits you. Like, heck, even like the last episodes of like both seasons when like Reagan did the fake out in the first season. Second season was with Show's dad. Like, there were a lot of heartfelt moments in Mob Psycho. This didn't really hit the heartfelt moment, but everything else about it was like very well done. That it is a standout episode in my opinion of Mob Psycho. So yeah, I do give it a 10 out of 10 for that. Yeah, I guess that's it for Mob Psycho, and one step closer to talking about Chainsaw Man. But before that, we gotta talk about Bleach. The episode was called, I forgot, I didn't write it down, god damn it. But the title drop was in like the Yamamoto's hole. I think it's Yamamoto's hole when the yhwach like wrecked him. So it's like basically his grave. Yeah, last episode was the whole plot twist. Plot twist, I guess, where Ichigo finds out that he is part Quincy and yhwach knows more about him than he does. So, he's confused. He's also beaten up. The Zanpakuto is broken. A lot of Soul Reapers are dead. And the Quincy's left. So what's happening now? Squad 7 and Squad 4 are helping all the injured like get treated. Basically, I forgot the Squad 7's lieutenant's name, but like, he's like, don't worry about the dead for now. Go get the injured so, we can get people living. You have a moment where Isane is crying to Unohana, like, yo, we could have done something instead of stay here in Squad 4 barracks. But Unohana's like, yeah, that's the those were the last orders of Captain Yamamoto. Like, we gotta listen to them. And also, like, she was basically saying, like, yo, if we didn't stay in Squad 4 barracks and we went out there and got massacred as well, more people probably would have died. Like, they wouldn't be able to help as many people as they are now. And like, yeah, just like, damn, Soul Society got fucked up crazy ways. And you have a moment where Ichigo is meeting Rukia and Renji in the hospital, and Renji's out, he can't even talk, but Rukia can, I guess. Shinji is there as well, and he's kind of, I'm kind of like, what the fuck has Shinji been doing this whole time? Because I'm pretty sure he's pretty strong, right? Like, he's the leader of the Visored. But, you know, it didn't seem like he was fighting it in the Quincy's. I'm assuming he was, but, you know, they didn't show it. So that was kind of weird. But, you know, Rukia and him are both like, oh man, Ichigo, he kind of sad. His Zanpakuto is broken. He can't save people because a lot of people... It's not that he can't save people. There's more like a lot of people died and he was basically helpless in trying to help. But you know, Rukia knows Ichigo, and like I think she realizes there's something up with Ichigo, which is probably the Ichigo finding out that he's part Quincy, and he's like, bro, what the fuck's going on here? We find out that Kenpachi and Byakuya are still alive. That's crazy. That's crazy, dude. They did the fake out on me. I read the manga and I got faked out. That's actually that's bad on my hand, honestly. That's that's not good on the anime. I guess it is good on the anime. Like they did Byakuya's like death scene last episode like really well. So I guess, you know, props to the anime and studio and directors, but I guess I'm also an idiot because I did have this like sneaking suspicion, right, when watching 1000-Year Blood War, right? I was like, in the manga, I'm like, I'm pretty sure Byakuya gets to do something in like the final like at the end of the arc. I'm like, didn't he fight someone? But then, you know, like I just saw him die in this season, so I'm like, oh, maybe I forgot wrong, because like, you know, it's been like 5 years since I read the manga, or somewhere around there, 5, 6. Wait, when did Bleach manga end actually? Bleach manga 2016. So yeah, about 6 years around there. So like, yeah, 6 years ago was when I last seen it. So yeah, like I got faked out by Byakuya's death, and I should have known better, which is crazy. And we find out that not Soifon, that's a little later, Bankai can't be restored when it's broken, which is fascinating because have Bankais been destroyed beforehand? Because I guess like I'm trying to like run through my head, right? We have Kuretsuchi Mayuri, like his Bankai got like sliced in half by Uryu, but we get to see his Bankai again later, so like, maybe it's more like the sword, like the sword breaks in Bankai form, then, you know, that's the problem. Because yeah, I don't know, I don't really understand this too much, because Bankais can take like many forms, like Byakuya's Bankai, right? As Senbon Sakura, like, or Zenbon Sakura, you know, I gotta look it up, man. I don't want to say this wrong. Senbon Sakura Kageyoshi. Yeah, like that Bankai was the petals, right? you can't really like break the petals unless it's his other form where like there are like hundreds of pink swords around. But like I doubt like it's if you break all of those swords, then it's like, oh, his Bankai is broken forever. I don't really know, to be honest, but I guess we haven't seen a Bankai be destroyed other than that, because Renji's can like form back together, so it can't be that. Yeah, so I guess this is the first time we've seen a Bankai get destroyed. It is what it is. But Kuretsuchi's to Ichigo, like, yo, we gotta go to Squad Zero, and you're gonna meet them, Ichigo. And we find out that Squad Zero is stronger than all of the 13 court guard squads combined. Which is crazy, because I think there was also another line beforehand where they said like Captain Yamamoto represents half of the strength of the 13 court guard squads. That's a crazy sentiment. So like, I do wonder what the power scaling is. Is Yamamoto stronger than anyone in the Squad Zero team? Like, I think so. I've read the manga and I've forgotten a lot of things, but I want to say full strength Yamamoto is stronger than one Squad Zero member, right? Because like, if you think about it, right, if Squad Zero is stronger than all of 13 squads, and then like, you know, if you take a fifth of that, like, well, obviously the 5 Squad Zero members probably have different power scalings as well, but let's just say, for example, they're all equal and you split them into 5, like 1/5. And if Yamamoto is half of the 13, surely that Yamamoto is stronger than 1/5 of Squad Zero. That's my assumption. I could be completely wrong here, but you know, it is what it is. I don't really care too much about power scaling. I just think it's fun to do. We also find out, like, you know, some of the relationships Squad Zero have with some of the captains, like Kiryu, the purple haired girl Squad Zero member, has a connection with Shinji and Hyoko. Maybe like, I'm guessing maybe it's the thing where Shinji and Hyoko, that this is like their teacher. Unohana learnt her healing techniques from Kirinji, which is the fucking pointy hair kind of what are these people called? The like bikers, I guess, yeah, Japanese biker kind of haircut kind of guy. Yeah, like they have some sort of relationship, some sort of connection. I'm really bad with my words today. I feel stupid, but it is what it is. And he kind of like, you know, shit talks Unohana a bit as well, where it's like, yo, because the one of the other girls with like the gold hand and shit took Renji, Rukia, and Byakuya and Ichigo's sword with her, and what you call it, Unohana's like, wait, those 3, they're no condition to be moving right now, they're under my care. But then the guy's like, yo, you're just not good enough as a healer, bro. Like, you fucking suck. You're not as good as me. I heal everyone. But Unohana, oh my god, Unohana's so hot. I just want her to peg me. What? Don't worry about that. I'll cut that out. Maybe I won't. I don't know. It is what it is. You also see that Shunsui notices like Unohana's kind of reaction to that, and I think that's what got Shunsui's brain racing for what happens later, which I hope is the next episode. I don't remember timeline wise what happens, but I'm just saying Unohana is one of the best girls for a reason in Bleach, and we'll find out soon enough. We also find out that, what else did we find out? we aren't really introduced to many of the other squad zeros. I mean, like there's the big guy with the beard. There's the dark skinned guy with like sort of an afro. I know the afro guy, what he does. I forget what the gold hand girl does. I'm guessing she's probably the science kind of character, like equivalent to Kurotsuchi and equivalent to that science Aranka guy as well, the pink head guy who's like weird. Who else is there? There's the purple head one as well. Don't really know what she does. And then there's obviously Kirinji, who is the hot spring demon, which you find out later. You get a call from Urahara, who opens a projector out of Kone's head. And I actually don't remember if this happened in the manga or not. Because I also forgot where, I've been wondering where Kone's been this entire time. But if he's been in Soul Society, and if Urahara implanted that in him, I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of lost. Because, I guess, the whole question is, right, was Kone in the Fullbring arc? I don't remember. I don't know. I'll be honest. I've forgotten a lot about Bleach, but what I didn't forget was Grimjow, and goddamn Grimjow's hot as fuck, man. Like, goddamn, you get to see his hole in his stomach. That's fucking hot. I love Grimjow. You also get to see the execution members as well, who are in the Fullbring arc. And you're like, oh my god, these guys are gonna play a part as well. I love those guys. Fullbring arc, underrated, honestly. I don't think it's the greatest Bleach arc, but I think it gets unnecessarily shit on by a lot of the fans, when really it tells a very unique story that you wouldn't expect from Bleach. Whereas it wasn't about, big power-ups, all the fighting, all that kind of Bleach showy kind of stuff. It was very it was heavily story based and character based. But I guess a lot of the fans, what happened is that after the Aizen arc and all that crazy shit happened, this happened, and maybe they felt it was a letdown in comparison. Especially if anyone was disappointed in the Aizen arc, they'll probably be, I say Aizen arc, Karakura Town arc, is that a better word? And if they were disappointed in that, maybe, it just carries over and this doesn't make it any better. What the fuck is this shit? But, I like the execution arc, or Fullbring arc. It wasn't bad. I love Bleach in general, honestly. You also get a story thing where Ichigo's dad, who was previously Squad 10 captain, which is Hitsugai's squad, is Kukaku's uncle, which makes Ichigo, Kukaku, and Ganju? I think his name's Ganju, right? The big guy, and big Shiba guy. Make them cousins. Crazy. I kind of forgot about that as well, honestly. But anyways, Kukaku launches them up with her cannon thingy, and they get thrown into the royal palace, where they learn about Okin and how Aizen wanted to create Okin so he could visit the royal palace. And what Okin is just, it's in the Squad Zero bones themselves. So it's not like a key, it's more of a permission, I guess. I didn't really see. I actually remember reading this in the manga and not really understanding it, and I still don't really understand it now. I'm guessing it's as simple as the Soul King blessed these people, or gave them some sort of power, Okin, which is now in their bones, which gives them permission to go to the royal palace, and anyone that they also allow, they come with into the royal palace. I mean, I guess so, but it doesn't really make sense to me. I don't know. I'm also an idiot, so it is what it is. And then for the rest of the episode, you get to see Rukia, Byakuya, and Renji in the hot spring. They're healing up because the hot spring demon Kirinji is healing them. He throws Byakuya into like the hot red hot spring pool thingy, and he's like, oh, they release all their blood in the hot spring over there, and then when I throw them in the red lava shit, it fills them back up with blood. So it's like you get rid of it and then you take in the water, and it heals them. Honestly, kind of an ass pool. I'm kind of realizing that Bleach doesn't really do like the greatest job in like explaining some of its super, it's not superpowers. What are they called when it's like supernatural? It's supernatural kind of stuff. It's kind of weird, like, because like the thing is, right, is like I'm guessing this is based on the Urahara's contraption with the hot springs is based on Kirinji's. But the thing is, Urahara's kind of made sense with like, oh, it's just a hot spring with healing properties. I mean, this is kind of the same as well, but like he's like adding on to it, where it's like, oh, you throw them in the hot spring and it get rid of their spiritual pressure, energy, rate to whatever the fuck, blood, and then I fill them back up. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an idiot for not being able to follow it. Like, I kind of understand it, but at the same time, I guess maybe it's just it's not as cool as just the hot spring with healing properties when you add more shit to it. Maybe that's what I have a problem with. But I also have a problem with they didn't show Rukia's ass. I saw on Twitter there was this like thing. Follow me on Twitter, by the way, if you want to like see the tweet. I retweeted it, where it was like there was a scene in the manga where when Ichigo finds out that Rukia is also here, Rukia's ass pops out of the hot springs with like her head there as well, and you're like, god damn, Rukia ass, that's nice. I end my case, and because of that, I thought it was a pretty underwhelming Bleach episode, which isn't, I don't want to say is too much of a critique. Like, it's not a bad episode. A lot of things happen. You get introduced to Squad Zero, Grimjow's there, Unohana's being set up. Like, a lot of shit was happening. But it was very much like after episode 7, not 6 and 7, that was fucking crazy. A lot of fighting, a lot of plot dump, character development, crazy shit. I guess like you need a comedown, but this it did just feel underwhelming because of that. I don't want to hate on the episode too much, because like I guess like one of the really cool things I liked about this episode was the lighting, like throughout the episode. Like, the lighting in the whole series so far has been amazing, but I think it's more pronounced in this episode because, like, the first half when it's raining and it's the aftermath of the Quincy's invading, it's very dark. Like, the tones were like, it really set the mood that like some shit just happened and everyone's sad, that like people are mourning, that people are dying, and all that kind of stuff. And then when they go outside, it uplifts a little bit more to like brighter colors and stuff. So yeah, I don't want to shit on the episode too much, but I give it 7 out of 10, I guess. It's definitely one of the weaker episodes thus far in Thousand Year Blood War, but it wasn't by no means a bad episode. There was a lot of things introduced, like the execution members, Grimjow. Oh goddamn, I love Grimjow. I can't wait to see more of him. Also, I think I said his name when the whoever cut up the Quincy and then pointed his sword at Urahara. I think the name I gave was like, oh, that's probably Grimjow. So I saw that coming. I know for a fact no one saw the execution members coming back there. That shit was crazy. But anyways, after that's done, I get to finally talk about the highlight of the week. Chainsaw Man. Now, wow. I don't really know how to start off with this. I literally watched this episode maybe like 2.5 hours ago, and you know, I just spent like the last hour talking about other animes, you know, Bleach and One Punch Man. Not One Punch Man, Mob Psycho, I mean. But I'm still processing what the fuck just happened in episode 8 of Chainsaw Man. Like, it's been so long since I've been at a loss. I can't even speak. At a loss of words with what happens in an anime. Like, I don't know what to say, honestly. Because obviously there's shock, right? With people dropping. But there's also like, before I really get into the episode, right? Like, in anime, when shocking things happen, right? Like plot twist, like maybe an emotional moment where, like, you know, you feel like crying and stuff like that. A lot of the times, sorry, I'm dying. I don't know why. Maybe it's Chainsaw Man got to me. Does that even make sense? But basically, yeah, anime, whenever these crazy moments happen, is usually done to evoke like a certain feeling, right? Like let's think of, like, you know, your hype shonen anime, a My Hero, what's another like hype kind of like shonen sports anime like Haikyuu. When like a crazy moment happens, right, you're like, oh my god, that was hype, that was crazy, like you feel energized. You know, in like a more sad story that, you know, with like they're hitting those emotional notes. You know, I'm thinking of like Naruto. What are some other sad anime? Like whatever sad anime you can think of, right? Like the moment happens, right? Fucking, what's that anime called? The movie Koi no Katachi, right? A Silent Voice. When that moment happens, you're like, oh, that's sad. That's like, that hits an emotional note, and you could be at a loss for words. Like, it's like shocking. You're like, oh my god, that was crazy. You could be bawling your eyes out, but you understand what's happening, right? Like you could be like, oh, the story elements, the themes, they're all clicking together, and you're like, yeah, everything like just works. Like that's the piece of art, right? It's amazing. In this fucking episode, right? Like, when the crazy shit starts happening, it kind of blew my mind, because I didn't know whether to feel shocked, angered, sad, fucking, like, I just felt like all the emotions at once. Like amazement by like how well animated the episode was, the mood by the music, and like I'm like, oh my god, bro, like what? Like I was like, after watching the episode, I was just sitting like this for like maybe like a good 10 minutes, just like contemplating life. I took a walk for a little bit because I was like, oh my god, like I need to digest what just happened. Like I need to process, because currently right now I cannot process. It was shocking, but it felt more than that. Hopefully I can process it by now. It's been like a few hours, but man, if I recorded this episode anime review thing like an hour or two ago, I don't think I could say anything, and you'll just see me like just standing here speechless. It was crazy. And this is coming from someone who has not read the manga, so like, you know, no spoilers or anything, but yeah, it was crazy episode. It's not even just like the second half episode where the crazy shit happened. It was like a phenomenal episode, front to back to front. because you know, it starts off with what happened in the last episode where Himeno took Denji home while she was drunk, and in like that whole first sequence, right, where you know it's Himeno arriving at her apartment. You know, she's taking off her shoes. She lays Denji on her bed. She goes out for a shower. She gets a drink from the fridge. Like, so many of these shots in her apartment, like, look so good because, like, they're more like shot further back, so you can see more of her apartment, which, you know, creates like a depth in the whole in the shot, as well as like creates a mood where like it like, you know, you kind of feel how empty the apartment is, how empty it is besides the two characters, right, Denji and Himeno. You're like, oh, Denji's like sleep talking or like muttering to himself, and you know, Himeno is like singing and drinking beer and shit. And like there's like in the shot where, you know, Denji's like calling for water and Himeno notices and goes to her room to where Denji is. Like, it's done in like a point of view shot, and you're just like, wow, that looks amazing. I mean, I expect this from Mappa, but like, man, it really felt like they went beyond what I kind of expected for Himeno, which is crazy for what happened at the end of the episode. But like, you know, I'll save that for now. But yeah, I guess another thing as well is like how nice the apartment looks, which is part of the world building, I think, as well, because, you know, Himeno and like other characters have said that devil hunters are paid really well, which might contrast with what happens at Aki's apartment. Not that Aki's apartment is bad or anything, it looks good, but maybe he's more of a is frugal the right word here? Because it's not that he's cheap or he's like, you know, decides to live a more simple life. Maybe he is, I don't know, or maybe he's just not as well paid as Himeno, because Himeno seems to have been at the job for a lot longer. But yeah, Himeno kind of pushes some moral boundaries by asking to have sex with Denji, but then Denji is like, nah, I'm saving my first time for Makima, which, you know, good for him. You know, I think a lot of men in his position would have not chosen the same approach, but, you know, I respect his choice. It's a person's choice to do what they want. If we're talking about like who's worse, it's like Himeno for even like bringing a minor home and like kind of assaulting him. But yeah, I feel like that's a whole separate whole separate conversation. That, you know, I will put it like straight out. You know, I don't think what she did was right. You shouldn't do that kind of stuff. But I think there's more to talk about it than just like, oh, she did something wrong. You know, I think you could give some. I don't want to say like it's an excuse that she was drunk or anything like that. Like you shouldn't do this either way. Like, I don't think being a drunk is an excuse, but I feel like there's like, you know, societal things and stuff. I mean, she was shocked about Denji's age in the first place, so maybe like, you know, she never treated him like a minor in the first place, so like, you know, things just got weird. But basically they wake up later in the morning, they eat breakfast together, some sandwiches. Sandwiches actually kind of look nice, and they they decide to help each other with their like love thing, where Denji wants to get with Makima and Himeno wants to get with Aki. And, you know, they're like, oh, you help me, you be my wingman, I'll be your wingman, we'll help each other out. So they have that whole arrangement happening. And then crazy shit happens. Makima's on the train train shot was actually really cool as well. You see like a guy walking across the train, and it's like outside the train, and it's like panning across. It actually that shot looks so good. And then like when she's in the train, I even forgot what she's saying. Like I forgot a lot of the dialogue in this episode because like it was just like you just see what happens. Basically, she's sitting in the train, and I even noticed that like some of the people on the train, like in the front of her and behind her, like put their heads down, and I thought initially like maybe they're being attacked by a devil or something that puts people to sleep. Like I noticed that like some other members in the train like didn't do that. Maybe it's a thing where like it hits them all, like some of them one by one. Like maybe like the weak members get hit first, and like like some sort of Demon Slayer Mugen Train thing happening. I don't know, but yeah, it was like damn, because they didn't go to sleep. They got the fucking gun and shot Makima and the guy next to her. Makima's dead. Part of me feels like she's not dead, but part of me thinks she's dead. I don't know who to believe, because also Kobeni and Arai die, the two other devil hunters that were with them at the hotel Eternity Devil place. They get shot on the street. You're like, what the fuck? Himeno and Aki, Power, Denji are all like eating ramen together, and they're about to get shot as well. I want to say like this whole sequence kind of felt like the ending of Godfather 1, where if anyone, I guess kind of spoilers, sorry if no one's watched that great movie. I love Godfather. Because I mean it's not exactly the same, but like it kind of gave like the same kind of emotion where it was like Godfather 1, you had all these sort of mob bosses that they didn't really like develop them like the mob bosses, but like you knew they were like powerful figureheads in the mob world. Is Godfather shot in New York? I think it's in New York, or like some sort of some place in America. The Italian mobsters. But yeah, like they how do I say this? Michael, the main character of Godfather, set up a situation where he gets all of the top mobsters assassinated, and like the way they set it up was he did it at the same time as his son's baptism, and it was just like this really cool like sequence of like, oh, Michael's doing this one thing, and then boom, people are dying left and right, and you're just like, wow, that shit was crazy. But this is like, I say it's similar. It's I guess it's more of just like people dying like in different places, and it's like it's crazy like that, and like dying from guns. This is like wow, and like the way they built it up as well with the music, the tension was just rising. You're like, oh my god, I really hope Kobeni's alive. That's all I really hope for. I don't really care about any other character. Like I said, I care about Aki. I said I care about Power. I do care about Power, but I don't think Power's gonna die. I just hope Kobeni's alive. I hope the sloppy blowjob devil is real. Like they can't just be a meme. It's got to be something. Man, I was like this close to calling Kobeni best girl as well over Power, but like I think I like Power more generally with like her demeanor. I'm still flabbergasted by what happened. Honestly, like people died. It was so crazy. But basically, at the ramen shop thingy, there's a guy who says he is the Yakuza guy who was like giving orders to Denji when he was a kid, and like controlling his debt, controlling his debt. Yeah, he was like, oh, that was my father. Well, he didn't say that, but he was basically saying like, oh yeah, I have a Yakuza dad. He spoiled me. Hey, this is you know him, right, Denji? And then Denji's like, what the fuck is going on? Denji's also like the kind of is like the only person like reacting to him while everyone's just eating food. which was like another cool shot. It was actually like very well done. Like it was like top down, and you get to see them eating food, but you get to see like the seat off on the top of the screen, like slightly. You know, I'm like, damn, Marvel went crazy this episode, because that's not even like my favorite shot in the series, but like shot in this episode. Like the train scene wasn't even my favorite shot in this episode. I'll get to that shot in a little bit, but yeah, the guy says the gun devil is after your heart, which is I think the same line that someone else used, or maybe it was like something that the Eternity Devil said, like I want your heart or something like that. Something happened, but basically, Aki does Kon, or like the guy like shoots Denji first and knocks Himeno away, and like, you know, they all get hurt. I think they shoot Pow as well, but Pow's like a fiend, so she can heal herself. But you know, Aki does the Kon, and the fox devil spirit thingy is like, oh, Aki, this person is neither human nor devil, which means, is he a fiend, like half human, half devil, or is he something different altogether? I don't know. All I know is that I'm pretty sure I've been spoiled, and he's the katana devil, which is crazy because he looks just like the chainsaw devil, just with katanas instead. Is it Katana Devil or Katana Man? I actually don't want to know because I feel like that might be a spoiler. But yeah, Katana Man is a man with katanas, and he does like some crazy shit. And I love this shot where when he cuts out of the fox spirit, right, and like the blood is like oozing down. Actually, is that the shot in the opening? No, because the shot in the opening is Chainsaw Man. And it's a reference to Neon Genesis, I think, something like that. I think that's what I looked up. Well, I saw a video about it. But yeah, because I think the guy who was like dancing like this is the Katana Man. Because I've definitely seen his design before. I don't like. Maybe he's in the opening. You see the blonde girl or kid. I don't know if it's a girl. I think it's a girl. In the opening as well. I remember seeing him or her and being like, oh damn, she's kind of cute. I want to know more about her. Right now, I don't know how I feel about her, but I'll get to that at some point. But basically, Aki pulls out his sword, which has been hidden away this whole time, which Pao says looks like a nail. I think it looks more like a needle, like a giant needle, but I guess a nail works as well. And he gets straight into fighting. Like it's kind of cool how shonen animes have progressed. Not that like this is like specifically a shonen thing where people are fighting or anything, but it really feels like so many other fighting animes, manga, when like these moments happen, they have like that dialogue piece before they start to fight, where like, you know, they try to understand each other and like what's happening. No, right here, Aki is full of smoke. He's like, yo, whipping out my sword. This person is dangerous. He just killed like the fox spirit. So he says like now to, I'm guessing, like some sort of other spirit, and like they like flick his sword so it like thrusts into them, and then like they start counting down from 3, 2, 1. And it's like they say, or the blonde girl later on says like it's the cursed devil. So I'm guessing it's one of those like, you know, voodoo doll curse occult thingies where it's like, oh, you stab him 3 times, they die for real, and we get their spirit. Because after he stabs him 3 times, he's like, oh, take him now, or something like that. And you see a hand grab him, and then like you kind of gets into this other, it feels like another realm where like this skeleton body kind of like just eats him up, and like you're like, damn, the way they animated that, beautiful. Like the sound effect as well, like the sound design, that entire fight was fucking amazing. Like you heard like this like fucking whirring sound, like this siren sound, like it sounded really good. Yeah, like amazing fight. It was definitely one of the best fights this season. I think I'll compare it later on when I like do the rundown of all the episodes. But yeah, you have the skeleton thing, and then the blonde kid arrives, girl, boy, I don't really know, and seems to revive the katana devil immediately, and you're like, wait, what the fuck is going on? What's happening right now? Because what do you call it? The katana guy is like, oh, the girl's like, oh, you know why you lost, right? And he's like, oh yeah, I've underestimated him. I'm sorry for that. Something like that. Something along those lines. And he goes to like slash Aki again. To which Himeno is like, wait, my fucking hottie partner boy, cutie boy Aki gonna die? Nah, I can't let that happen. So she's like, hey Ghost, go help out. And the Ghost is like, I can't do that shit. So Himeno's like, I'll sacrifice. You can take everything. Just go help him or whatever like that. All right. And the way animation, this is my favorite part. Like the favorite favorite scene, animation wise. Actually, even like story wise, it was fucking amazing. But the way like the ghost hand like goes down through her hand and then onto the floor, the noise, like the music that's playing, the sound effects, it's like this creepy sound, but then also like, oh my god, yeah. I don't know. I feel like I have to rewatch it to like really like explain it as well, because it's been like a few hours since I watched the episode. But all I know is that scene was fucking amazing. All the arms coming out, yeah. And then like the way Himeno's limb started disappearing, because she's told us beforehand that the reason she doesn't have her right eye is because she gave it away so she could use the right hand of the ghost. Like she can use the ghost right hand, and that's all we've seen her do so far. But you know, at this point, she's like, "Yeah, I gotta save Aki." So you're seeing her like limbs disappear, and it looks so good the way they did it, because it seems seamless, and like the way they like pop out, and you're like, "Wow, that looks so good." Yeah, this is one of the things I'm talking about where like it left me speechless, because I was like, damn. At one point, I'm shocked by what just happened like 2 minutes ago, where Makima, Kobeni, and Arai just died. I'm shocked that this guy is the Yakuza's son, assumingly. No, what's the right word? What's the allegedly his son? You know, this guy, you know, is the katana devil. He cut open Aki's fox spirit thingy, and Aki got defeated. And you're like, or even like Aki's power up, like all this shit just happened, and I'm like, holy shit, I can't even process what just happened 2 minutes ago. And now you have Himeno like sacrificing herself, and I'm like, bro, like I'm sad by what just happened. I'm amazed by the fight that just happened. Like I'm hyped, and now I'm sad again by what's happening with Himeno. But then at the same time, I'm just so amazed by how wonderfully animated the scene was, because I'm like, wow, that looked really good. Wow, the music is fucking amazing. But at the same time, I'm like, damn, wait, you know, I kind of said like, you know, I didn't really like Himeno, but like, it's not like I hated her or anything, right? It was like, it's like, I don't know, like that's what I mean by like I have such a mixed bag of emotions, because I don't think she's a morally just character, but I also feel for her. Like she has like a pretty sad backstory with like all her partners dying, and like now she only has Aki. And you're like, damn. And then like, you know, how emotional she got beforehand when Aki was about to like use the sword in the Eternity Devil place, and you're like, oh my god, what's happening? What like I'm shocked, sad, amazed. What are all these emotions I'm feeling? And then like the somber music that plays, and you're just like, wow, what's happening? What's happening right now? She even like says to like Aki, and like the dialogue is fucking great as well. Cause like she's like, yo, like I don't want to see you die, and like if I die or something like that, she was. I'm paraphrasing. I'm doing a terrible job here, like of quoting the correct lines. I wish that's one of the things I wish I had in anime. It was like a good memory on the dialogue, because I can never remember dialogue well, but I kind of get the gist of it. Because she was basically saying like, yo, I don't want to cry for you. You should cry for me, but don't cry for me because I'm not gonna die, but I'm probably gonna die. Actually, I think she knew she was gonna die because I think she said sacrifice everything. So it's like, yeah, like take my limbs, take my torso, take my organs, torso, head, everything. But even then, it wasn't enough because the girl was just like, you know, snake, hippie. And then the ghost devil dies. Well, I don't know if the ghost devil dies, but like, head gets cut off, and Himeno is gone because you see her eye patch fall on the floor, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck just happened in this episode? I can't, like, I was so shocked by what just happened. I didn't even like pay attention to the ED that played. Like, that's how shocked I was. Like that whole like 2-minute ED or whatever. I was just like, what the fuck just happened? Because like, I guess I should have saw the death flag when Himeno was like, oh, you help me get with Aki, I'll help you with Makima. Like, I should have saw that death flag coming. I should have saw the death flag coming when Himeno's backstory with like the previous partners occurred. But I if anything, that was more of a death flag for Aki. But I guess it was actually a death flag for Himeno. And you're like, oh my god. I don't even know what to say anymore, man. Like I'm speechless. I guess I'll get to like some of. I guess I have to like go to my predictions, right, on like what's gonna happen next. Cause actually I'm gonna go toilet. I'm gonna cut this episode here, and I'll appear back in a jiffy. All right, prediction time on what's happening in Chainsaw Man. See, this is coming from someone who has only watched the anime, have not read the manga. I feel like, because like with what's been shown to us so far, it appears that there is another sort of level or tier of devil hunters. Maybe it's not technically like devil hunters. Maybe like they have like some other name. I'm guessing it's devil hunters because what do you call it? Aki said like a line where it's like, oh, only police and devil hunters are permitted having guns. That might be a thing where it's like, you know, these are like Yakuza members or like illegal, like they got the guns illegally, so maybe it's just that. But I feel like that's too poignant of a line he said, that maybe there's this like slight chance that there's a higher echelon of devil hunters, because it does seem like the blonde girl has a contract with the snake devil. I think is that what they're called? Are they called devils? So like it's snake devil. Yeah, and obviously, you know, Aki might have like a weaker, Aki and like Himeno and other characters we've seen so far have like sort of weaker level of devil hunters, but like these higher echelon devil hunters just have another level, right? That's my prediction. I could be way off. Like I guess like the other possibility is that they're just, you know, a different band altogether, like a different what do you call that? Like a separate group. A group? I guess I'll just say it like that. Like they're a separate group entity from Devil Hunters as well. that maybe like they're trying to rebel, or even wipe out devil hunters. Maybe it's a thing where the devil hunters and like that association works with people, like the humans of the world, while this other organization works with the devils of the world. And it's like, they're like, it's that kind of thing going on. And maybe it's supposed to be like a flip on like the human owned thing is like way more corrupt and evil than the devil owned organization. Maybe it's something like that. I think that would be interesting. Like, I'm just shooting out ideas. I don't really expect any of them to be correct. With like with what was shown to us right now, like I don't like. Oh man, I think like the other sad part was that like Kobeni and Arai was just like helping like this old lady or something like that, and then the old lady just turned around and killed them both. Oh my god, that shit's sad as fuck. Or at least I think that's what happened. Maybe something else happened, but like what? I'm gonna miss Kobeni. I hope she's not dead. But what else? I guess that's it for my predictions. I don't really have much else. I'm just interested into what's gonna happen next episode. At this point, I think I've digested enough of the episode that like the kind of stuff that I was saying beforehand was like in the moment. But like a few hours later, I've digested, I think, what happened. And what happened is like some characters died. And I did not expect that to happen in a shonen anime, right? I mean, like, it's not like death doesn't happen in shonen anime, but it's usually there's a certain way it's done, and this is definitely the kind of thing where, like, you got to give props to the studio Mappa at this point, because it was like they set the mood earlier in the episode where it's not like it felt lighthearted, but it felt like it was going a certain direction. And then this like when people were dropping, right, it was like a reminder that like, no, this is not that kind of story, right? This is a dark story with death, with like dark, like, I don't want to say tones. I don't think that's the right wording. I like it's a dark story. I don't know what else to say other than that. Like, right? It's like it's just reminding you of that fact. Characters are going to die. Like you might forget that. You like this is the past 7 episodes. You're like, oh, it's shonen anime. Oh, look at that Chainsaw Man with the power up. Oh, look how cool they are fighting. He was fighting the Eternity Devil for 3 days. It's so cool. It's like, no, people gonna die. Shit, crazy. Almost reminded me of like, I guess like the whole thing, right? Is that like I've heard people say, right, is that this doesn't really feel like a shonen anime or series. It feels more seinen, and I definitely got some of that Gantz feel or Inuyashiki, both by the same author, where it felt shocking but poignant at the same time at like what it's trying to say and like its storytelling and its character development, and you're like, wow, it's one of the greats. I'm saying Gantz is one of the greats in Inuyashiki. I'm not sure where I'm placing Chainsaw Man at this point. Like, at least from what I know so far, I know the manga has a part 2 happening, and which is like continuing what was like ended beforehand, and the anime is probably not gonna finish like the first part. It's like you're gonna need a second part, or maybe a third. I don't know how far the manga is, but basically there's going to be a season 2 of Chainsaw Man, and I think that opens a lot of doors for where this story's gonna head. Like, I'm definitely interested. So yeah, I think I might as well go to the outro point of the episode where I try to encapsulate how I felt about like all the animes together as a whole. And I'll say Mob Psycho went into like the bizarro mode, which was crazy. Bleach kind of took a step down a little bit in its like sort of energy and went more into like it's just pushing the plot forward. And then Chainsaw Man just went fucking stupid, crazy, dumb. Oh my god. I don't know what else to say. Like, oh my, that was a really good episode of Chainsaw Man. If I had to really think about it, right, in ranking fights and like the anime shown so far, right, with Mob Psycho, the Dimple Founder fight, I guess Dimple Founder plus Dimple Mob, episode 6 basically, that fight. If we have Bleach with Yamamoto versus yhwach, and even like Ichigo versus yhwach a little bit as well, like let's just say yhwach fights. And in Chainsaw Man, katana fight, I guess, right? If I were to rank these three, I don't know if Katana Man, Chainsaw Man is at the bottom, which is crazy to me because coming into this, I have a bias towards Bleach and Mob Psycho, and I'm like, bro, Chainsaw Man might have had the best fight out of these three, which is crazy for like Katana Man that was just introduced. Like my biasism for Mob Psycho is like, I don't like. Again, this is like I only just watched the episode like 3 hours ago, and maybe it's what's that thing called? Recency bias. Even though I also watched like the Mob Psycho and Bleach fights like 2 weeks ago, but still like 2 weeks ago compared to like 3 hours ago, like there is gonna be some recency bias. I'm like the Chainsaw Man fight is more fresh in my mind. The emotional impact is like still in my heart. So I'm just like, I don't know. But I feel like I have to do this on ranking these 3 fights, right? So let me take some time dissecting it. The Dimple Mob fight looked great, but I think the emotional note of like them being friends and like sorting things out through like words hit better than the fight. But then if we move to the Dimple versus Psycho Helmet fake founder character, if you're talking animation wise, that was amazing. It looked great. It was overboard. You had so many different colors, so many different like panning and like animation things. I talked about how much I love the like mini founders popping out everywhere because it reminded me of the Android 17 Piccolo fight. Oh my, that was amazing. Like I'm not gonna pair in like what happened at the end of the episode, which was the emotional note, with the fight. I'm gonna be strictly talking about the fight here. Bleach, Yamamoto, and yhwach started off like the whole fight was well animated, like from start to finish. Like as the way Yamamoto came in, like took Kenpachi and the camera panned, the flames everywhere. Oh my god, like what? And like the way it was Yamamoto's Bankai. Bleach has to be first. Bleach has to be number 1 in this fight, I think, because like Yamamoto's Bankai, the way that was drawn, animated, like east, west, north, south, like all of that, and like the ending of the fight as well, like how well that was done. like maybe it's also cheating as well, because like Bleach, that was a whole episode dedicated to the fight, while like Chainsaw Man was half an episode. And if we're talking about the Dimple and Fake Founder fight, that was like half an episode. Actually, Chainsaw Man was like quarter of an episode technically, I guess. But yeah, I think Bleach takes the cake here. I think as the number one fight so far. We're only up to episode 8. Maybe Chainsaw Man has more fights. Maybe Mob Psycho has more fights. But you know, if I want to say it, Bleach has the best fight scene this season so far. Okay, but between Mob Psycho and Chainsaw Man, oh, this is hard. I don't want to let my Mob Psycho biasism affect my judgment here, but I also don't want Chainsaw Man's recency bias to like play an effect here. It's really hard to remain impartial here, but because oh my god, Mob Psycho hit the emotional note with the fire as well because it's Dimple protecting Mob, but Chainsaw Man had Himeno and like that her sacrifice. Oh my god, how do I? It's I'm kind of tempted to say it's a tie between them, but I feel like that's a cop-out answer, right? Which one? How about we go through this? Which one would I rather rewatch? And I think I would rather rewatch the Chainsaw Man fight scene, strictly so I could just like experience it again without being so overwhelmed by emotions. That might be recency bias, but I think I'm just gonna lock it in and just say Chainsaw Man's number 2, Mob Psycho's number 3. Damn, these are hard choices, man. Like, I also want to give like the clarification that I thought all of these fights were amazing, and I think all of these animes are amazing as well. Chainsaw Man has definitely been on the up and up ever since the first episode. If you've been watching my review show since episode 1, like I didn't think too highly of the first episode of Chainsaw Man. I thought it was alright. I thought it was good. I thought it excelled in, you know, a bunch of areas, but I didn't know if the anime was for me, because I'm like, oh, blood, gore, like a little horror thriller kind of aspect, a little action sequence with chainsaws and stuff. You know, like Denji is kind of a pathetic character. I didn't really know how to feel about him yet, but ever since that starting point, that it's been going up. Every episode, every new character introduced, every like plot line, it's just been going up. And I'm scared that like Chainsaw Man might become better than Bleach and Mob Psycho. I'm afraid because I'm such a big Bleach and Mob Psycho fan, and I've been shit talking Chainsaw Man to my friends like this entire like month or two. So it's like, man, I'm biting my words already. I was wrong about Chainsaw Man. It's great. I guess the whole complaint is that you gotta like watch maybe like the first 4 or 5 episodes of Chainsaw Man to like sort of get the feel and like maybe get into mood and start enjoying it. At least for me, that's how it kind of went. Like really, it was like only like episode 3, because I think that's when, well, Power was introduced episode 2, I think, and I liked her then. But like, you know, you get to see more Power later on, so it's like, you know, that was really my driving force in Chainsaw Man so far. So maybe other people are different. Maybe they just enjoy it from the start. I don't know. I don't really. What is the public opinion of Chainsaw Man? I actually have no idea. But basically, what I'm trying to say is like, it would really suck for people who drop this anime before episode 8, because it really feels like episode 8 is when you get to see the true Chainsaw Man. Like, this is the story begins for real. I should have just left this section still in the Chainsaw Man section, but fuck it. Like, this is the outro. Any other thoughts I have? You know, I was gonna talk about like how I felt about the dubbed, about each of these episodes, but then Chainsaw Man happened, and I was like, fuck it, man. I gotta talk about this anime. I can't waste time watching the dubbed. I did end up watching the dubbed though for Chainsaw Man, and I did like it. Denji kind of sounded. I like the dubbed more for Denji because, for me, right, as someone who doesn't speak Japanese, I found the inflections in the English dub to like give me more. Like I feel like I'm understanding more of the character by the tone and how he says things. Not that, you know, you can't do that with the Japanese, but I feel like it's harder to do it in Japanese because you're reading at the same time as hearing. Like, you know, like there's no demerit to the voice actor or anything like that, or how other people listen to the dub. Like, I mean, listen to the sub. Maybe, like, you know, they can catch on to the stuff. Like, you know, maybe, yeah, like I said, maybe I'm just an idiot, but, you know, I like the dubbed for Chainsaw Man. I think it's underrated. Dubbed anime in general, I feel like, is heavily underrated. But, you know, I feel like that's a discussion for later. So for now, if you are still watching and you're like, you know, you enjoy this content, please show to like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate you for being here. Tune in next week for the next anime review for week 9, episode 9s. See ya.